I know this might come as a surprise to you, but there is some stuff going on in New York. Specifically, a few weeks ago, I spoke about a situation regarding a certain type of AR-15 being sold and how the Suffolk, I'm being told it is pronounced Suffolk County Police Department, actually sent out letters to people who purchased lawful firearms and legal firearms under the New York SAFE Act, and that the Suffolk County Police Department sent letters to people who allegedly were in possession of one, saying that they would have to either turn them in or face the consequences. This was a situation that had a lot of people confused, and I wanted to kind of give you a brief update about what's going on right now, because we have seen some minor developments in this situation. We're going to get going into that in just a second, but I do want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel. This video is not sponsored, but if you're looking for a way to support me, you can use any of the affiliate links down in the description, or if you would like to join the Subscribe Star and get access to the Discord, you can do that through there. $2 tier, you can leave after a month, stay in the Discord after that. I really do enjoy having the community that we do have on the Discord. It's a great way for me to interact with people on a more daily basis, and a lot of great video ideas that I've talked about do originate from there. So I do appreciate people over there on the Discord having that kind of discourse with me on Discord. Now, let's get into the video. So, a brief summary of what happened a little while ago. The Suffolk County Police Department sent out a letter to people who allegedly purchased a Delta Level Defense, a DLD AR-15. This was a firearm that was not a rifle, not a pistol, and not a shotgun as defined by the NFA or the New York SAFE Act. This firearm was a firearm that was too long to be a pistol and had more than one hand grip, meaning that it was a other firearm. Not, and I repeat, not an AOW. An AOW is a NFA regulated firearm that would require a $5 tax stamp or for you to ignore the law in order to possess. If you were in possession of that, that would be different. But these firearms that were sold by DLD through Jerry's Firearms and FFL, they were a specific type of firearm that was not a rifle, pistol, or a shotgun. It was just a firearm. Now, it's still regulated when it comes to transport, possession, that kind of thing, as a firearm. However, it is not a rifle, not a pistol, not a shotgun. So when you look at the New York SAFE Act, it was not actually considered an assault weapon, and therefore it basically operated like a normal AR-15 to an extent. I'm not the most well-versed on New York laws, so if there is a specific gotcha with this type of firearm, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear that. If you know of anyone that has a channel like mine that focuses on New York stuff, let me know as well. I would love to be able to support people behind enemy lines trying to educate their fellow Americans in those less free states. So, this got the attention of the Suffolk County Police Department. They sent out letters to everyone who allegedly purchased one of these firearms from Jerry's Firearms and sent a letter saying that you had 15 days to comply with their request or their demand for you to either destroy it or turn it into them. Meaning that you basically had three options: destroy it, turn it in, or crime. So if many people chose to go the option of ignoring that letter because many people believed that it was not in actual accordance with the law and that the Suffolk County Police Department was acting outside of their authority. So now that we've switched over here, I want to kind of read to you this initial application for a preliminary injunction. So the plaintiffs and the appellants motion for a preliminary injunction. They are asking that the enforcement of this by the Suffolk County Police Department be put on hold because they're saying that this is not actually legal for the Suffolk County Police Department to do. Regardless of how we feel about shall not be infringed, that doesn't always mean that police aren't terrible people and won't actually kill your life, kill your dog, burn your house to the ground because you happen to own an AR-15 that was a little bit too long but a little bit too short and had one too many grips, and was technically legal, actually straight up legal, but they didn't like it because it went against the spirit of the law. So that's why court cases like this go into effect to prevent people from having to shoot at someone to defend their rights. They're going through the courts. So the introduction. In what so far have been 3 bulk mailings, the Suffolk Police Department, in conjunction with Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, is falsely informing hundreds of innocent individuals that a firearm they legally purchased violates the New York Penal Law, and if they do not surrender it to the SCPD, they will be subject to arrest and prosecution. The letter is unsigned, fails to identify the provision of penal law being violated, and fails to identify the firearm alleged to be illegal. Now, I know when we initially made the video talking about it, people were saying, oh, it's not signed, or it seems odd that they're going to be going this route. And it was definitely a threat. And this letter and this proposal that they're writing here is addressing a lot of those points. The letter orders the purchasers to surrender their legally purchased and possessed firearms with 15 days of receiving the letter warning. Now, here's the thing. How do they know when you received it? How do they know if you received it? It's without having actual notarized mail. It's hard for them to actually prove that you received it, which is interesting, to me at least. Be further advised, however, that if you fail to present the weapon to the Suffolk County Police Department within the 15 days allotted, you may be subject to arrest and criminal charges for your purchase and continued possession of said firearm. Through the letter, Suffolk County is enforcing its own policy, not the penal law. The gun at issue is not illegal to purchase or possess in New York. The firearm is a CT-42A. Other firearm, the CT-42A, manufactured by Delta Level Defense in Connecticut. The target of the letter are individuals who purchased the firearm from Jerry's Firearms and Supplies, otherwise known as Jerry Firearms, between November 2018 and November 2020. It's saying that over 500 of them were built and sold through Jerry's Firearms. And then it also goes on to talk about how the plaintiffs are John Does, because while the SCPD would have a general idea of who is in possession of them or who bought one of them, the plaintiffs don't want to have to face the imminent and irreparable harm in the nature of inter alia, false arrest, prosecution, permanent loss of property without compensation, loss of the use and enjoyment of their property, unreasonable search and seizures of their person and property. Because if they were to name themselves in this, they would potentially be able to have the law enforcement choose to confiscate those firearms during the proceedings of this, because not all cops are pro-gun, and enough cops would be willing to go door to door to these very small number of people to collect their firearms. So it's situations like this where it's like, oh, they don't have enough to enforce it. It's a very small number of people that have these. Many people wouldn't be willing to fight. Many people would choose to give up their freedoms because the SCPD decided to knock on their door. Now, the worst part about that is because people say, oh, are you willing to die for what you believe in? Well, you're putting it all on us. Why should we have to justify being willing to die for something? Why shouldn't we be questioning the fact that the government is willing to kill you for something when you're not a threat? There is no current threat. They are not saying that these people are now more dangerous because they have these firearms. They are saying that these firearms are illegal and you must turn them in. So why are we having to prove that our side is the just side when it's the government that is trying to enforce their will upon us? And I think this is a really interesting topic that is kind of a lot more to go into in another date, but you shouldn't have to prove your innocence. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They're saying that you have to prove that you are innocent here. Otherwise, we will come for you. And because it is only under 500 people that might not even live in that area anymore, so less than 500 people, that's plenty. That is enough. I think that the police department would be able to handle going to that many doors. Now, after they get stopped at a few of them, I think they might change their tactics. But this is exactly how they do it. They want to scare these people. Do not turn your stuff in. Now, I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice. But this lawsuit is intending to stop the SCPD and New York from being able to throw their dick on the table and expect you to suck it. I realize that I'm using some crass language here, but ultimately we're talking about a specific example of attempted firearms confiscation. People say, oh, nobody's coming for your guns. Nobody's coming for your guns. These motherfuckers right here are coming for those motherfuckers' guns. This is a very serious situation, and I think people are just kind of brush it off like, oh, nobody's ever confiscated. There's never been a gun confiscation. There's never been gun confiscation. Let's just fucking ignore Katrina and that all happened. Let's ignore the fact that in this specific situation, the police department as a whole is choosing to try to extort its citizens with fear and then say that we are going to get your guns. Pretty fucked up if you ask me, right? So if you want to know more about this, I'm going to have a link to this actual document down below so you can read the rest of it for yourself. But the moral of the story is this: people are attempting to fight the gun confiscation that is currently being attempted in New York, in Suffolk County. If you want to know more, you can always read that for yourself. I just kind of wanted to make you all aware of this because that the 2 videos that I made about the previous ones have been kind of cycling through in the feed lately, and a lot of people have been asking questions. I actually just saw this today, so I wanted to talk about it today and get this information out to you. At the end of the day, if you want to support this channel, I would appreciate it. Links down below for ways that you can do that. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.